agricultural land covers more than 60% of the British Isles. And since I was a kid, it's undergone radical change. We've lost half of our hedgerows. We've changed planting and harvesting practices, and pesticide use has risen massively. As a result, many farmland species have declined by up to 90%. Today, 11 species of farmland bird are on the red data list. That means they're heading for extinction in the UK. Now, can I be very clear from the outset? We're not having a go at farmers. After all, fundamentally, farmers are producing the food that you and I need to eat. And we are asking them to do that in an increasingly efficient way, but then making it very difficult for them to make a profit. There are farmers who are passionate about protecting wildlife, and I found a farm that transports me back to my long-lost childhood days. Lying around in flower-filled meadows, listening to skylarks. Listen. And I've seen swallows, grey partridges, there are hares here. It's not your average farm, is it? No, but it still manages to turn a profit. Its owner, Edward Darling, has founded a charity called Redlist Revival that links scientists, conservationists and farmers, and which could help endangered species. He's only too aware of how urgent this is. Edward, I'm sat here looking at the rate of decline in farmland species since 1970, and it's mapping a possible extinction by about 2022, something like that. That's just around the corner. What can we do about it?
There are a lot of people doing positive works at the moment without any particular focus. We need to find out where the places are that have got success. Look at what's happening there and replicate it. We all learn from experience, but it's so much quicker and easier to learn from other people's.
Edward believes that the subsidy system, which rewards farmers for encouraging wildlife, needs to be much more effective. So he's testing new agricultural techniques which specifically help the wildlife that's most at risk. Edward, forgive me, I'm going to mince along here because I don't want to tread on your lovely cowslips, but this is clearly an area that's managed, mown in different regimes. What's been going on here?
We're just trying to find how to get the very best out of pieces of land that we're using for wildlife. If you take the butterflies, we end up counting a 100-metre stretch and we find that we've got 150 butterflies on that. But what we need is to be able to measure that against other strips. Is 150 butterflies a good number? Maybe we should be having 500 butterflies. We need to find out what's really working and then promote that for the future.
Edward is working with conservationists, including the British Trust for Ornithology, and by carefully selecting crops to plant in which field, he's having success with one of my favourite farmland birds. This is your lapwing plot. What have we got on it? Oh, we've got lapwing on it, which is pretty good, I have to say. Well, no, I don't jest, because they've become a very rare bird in our lifetime. Well, that's the truth.
Yeah, it's terrible, but it fits in well with our farming system here. This is open for most of the summer, and we usually go from about 15 pairs up to 50 pairs by the end of the summer nesting.
So basically, they're drawn into this area here.
Yeah, we're just trying to provide those extra spaces for wildlife that disappear in modern farming systems.
The alfalfa he's growing in this field can be harvested after the lapwings finish breeding, but this does come at a cost.
Lapwing chicks are costing about £1,000 a chick to produce.
Well, that's why there's not many lapwings on farmland then.
Bonkers.
£1,000 per chick.
Yeah, and that's why we need to find ways to produce them for £10 a chick. That would be far more exciting.
Certainly would, but it's a tall order. By changing seed mixtures, perfecting crop selection, and by making harvesting more wildlife friendly, farmers should be able to turn a profit and help threatened species. But we as consumers need to do our bit. If we all paid a little more for lapwing friendly food, then more farmers could afford to use these techniques.